A black man in a suit steps from a limo, facing a stunned manager at a luxury dealership. Secrets unravel in a takeover of justice. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for our latest thrilling stories. The glazed doors of Elite Motors hissed open, and Marcus Kane stepped into the showroom, his worn sneakers squeaking against the polished marble floor. Sunlight streamed through towering windows, glinting off the sleek curves of Rolls-Royce Phantoms and Bentley Continentals, each car a monument to wealth. Marcus, in a faded denim jacket, threadbare jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low, moved with quiet purpose. His eyes, sharp and calculating, darted across the showroom, taking in every detail of the gleaming chrome, the pristine leather, the nervous glances of a salesman polishing a hood. He'd barely crossed the threshold when a voice cut through the air like a whip. "Hey you." Claire Vauban, the manager, charged across the floor, her stiletto heels hammering the marble like machine gun fire. Her tailored blazer and pencil skirt screamed corporate dominance, but her curled lip and narrowed eyes radiated disdain. "This isn't a public park. No money, no entry. Get out." The words echoed, silencing the soft jazz playing overhead. Marcus stopped, hands buried in his pockets, his face a mask of calm. A couple browsing a Bentley Mulsanne turned, whispering behind manicured hands. Claire snapped her fingers, sharp as a gunshot. "Vince, Reggie, get over here." Two security guards, each built like a heavyweight boxer, materialized from the shadows. Vince, the taller one, wore a badge that gleamed under the showroom lights. Reggie, shorter but broader, cracked his knuckles, eyeing Marcus like prey. "Escort this guy out, now," Claire barked, folding her arms. Vince clamped a meaty hand on Marcus's arm, his grip bruising. Marcus didn't budge, his gaze locked on Claire. "Ma'am, I'm just looking," he said, his voice low, steady, like a distant storm gathering strength. Claire's laugh was a jagged blade. "Looking at a $250,000 Phantom." "Don't insult me. You are wasting my time and scuffing my floors." Vince yanked Marcus toward the exit, but Marcus twisted free with a fluid motion, surprising the guard with his strength. The showroom staff froze, sensing the shift. Claire's smirk faltered, but she doubled down. "What? You gonna make a scene? Try it. I'll have you arrested for trespassing." Marcus tilted his head, studying her. "I'll leave," he said, his words deliberate, each one landing like a stone. "But I'll be back, and next time I choose who stays." The promise hung in the air, heavy with unspoken power. Claire scoffed, tossing her hair, but a flicker of unease crossed her face. Vince and Reggie shoved Marcus toward the glass doors, their boots thudding. The doors slid open, and a blast of Miami's humid heat swallowed him as he stepped outside. The doors sealed shut, muffling Claire's parting shot, "Don't let the door hit you on the sidewalk." Marcus adjusted his cap, ignoring the stares of a man climbing into a Porsche Cayenne. The midday sun beat down, turning the asphalt into a shimmering mirage. He walked to the curb, pulled a burner phone from his jacket, and dialed. "It's done," he murmured. "Move forward." A voice crackled through static. "Understood. Mr. Kane, the deal closes in 3 hours. Assets are secured." Marcus ended the call, slipping the phone away. He glanced back at Elite Motors, its glass facade reflecting his silhouette against the skyline. A faint smile curled his lips, not smug, but certain. Inside, Claire was already back in her element, striding across the showroom like a general. "What are you idiots staring at?" she snapped at a salesman wiping down a Rolls-Royce Dawn. "Clean those smudges, or you're out of a job." She spun toward Emily, the young receptionist stationed at a sleek desk near the entrance. Emily, barely 20, with wide eyes and a nervous smile, was still clutching a stack of brochures. She'd been the only one to nod at Marcus when he entered, a small gesture of warmth in the sterile showroom. Now she shrank under Claire's glare. "And you stop daydreaming, or you're next." Thin ice, Emily. Thin ice, Emily nodded, her hands trembling as she sorted papers. Her mind replayed the scene, Marcus's calm defiance, Claire's venom. She wished she'd said something, anything, to diffuse the tension. Claire stormed into her glass-walled office, muttering about riffraff and upholding standards. The showroom buzzed with unease, salesmen exchanging glances but saying nothing. A junior associate, polishing a Bentley's grill, leaned toward a colleague. "She's gonna eat those words," he whispered. The colleague, older and jaded, shrugged. "Her funeral? Always is." Outside, Marcus slid into a nondescript gray sedan parked a block away. The driver, a wiry man in a black polo, handed him a tablet without a word. "Papers are ready, sir," the driver said. His voice clipped. "Board's waiting for your final signature." Marcus swiped through the tablet, his finger hovering over a contract titled Acquisition Elite Motors Group. The numbers were staggering, hundreds of millions. A deal struck in secret over months. He tapped the screen, his expression unreadable. "Good. Let's make it quick." The sedan pulled into traffic, weaving through Miami's bustling streets. Horns blared, and palm trees swayed in the breeze. Marcus leaned back, his mind racing. This wasn't just about one showroom or one rude manager. It was about dismantling a system that judged him before he could speak. Back at Elite Motors, Claire sipped coffee from a monogrammed mug, oblivious to the clock ticking down her empire. She scrolled through sales reports, barking orders through an intercom. "Tell Vince to patrol the floor. I don't want any more strays wandering in." The showroom staff scrambled, their movements mechanical. Emily, still at her desk, glanced at the glass doors, half expecting Marcus to reappear. Something about his parting words gnawed at her, a promise, not a threat. The sedan carrying Marcus merged onto the highway, the city's skyline shrinking in the rearview mirror. He adjusted his cap, his eyes fixed on the road ahead. 3 hours. That's all it would take to turn Claire's world upside down. He wasn't just coming back, he was coming for everything. And no one, bravo, not even Claire, could stop what was already in motion. Marcus Kane's sedan glided through Miami's concrete jungle, the hum of the engine a low pulse against the city's chaos. Skyscrapers loomed, their glass facades mirroring the midday sun. Marcus sat in the back, tablet in hand, scrolling through the final pages of the acquisition contract. The driver, Javier, glanced at him in the rearview mirror. 2 hours till the board signs, sir. We're ahead of schedule." Marcus nodded, his face a mask of focus. "Good. Get me to the safe house. No stops." Javier accelerated, weaving through traffic with practiced ease. The sedan slipped past a honking taxi, its tires hissing on the asphalt. Marcus tapped the tablet, zooming in on a clause about asset transfer. Elite Motors wasn't just one showroom, it was a chain. 15 locations across the Southeast. A $400 million empire. By 300 p.m., it would be his. He leaned back, closing his eyes for a moment. Claire's sneer flashed in his mind, her voice spitting venom. No money, no entry. He exhaled sharply. She'd learn soon enough. The sedan turned into a quiet industrial district, pulling up to a nondescript warehouse. Javier punched a code into a gate panel, and the metal doors rattled open. Inside, the space was sparse concrete floors, a single table, and a laptop glowing in the dim light. A woman in a crisp blazer stood waiting, her glasses catching the flicker of a ceiling bulb. "Mr. Kane," she said, extending a hand. "Lydia Chen, your legal advisor." "Everything's ready." Marcus shook her hand, his grip firm. "Walk me through it." Lydia gestured to the laptop, pulling up a digital dashboard. "The deal's airtight. You've got 51% ownership through the holding company. The board's desperate to offload after last quarter's losses. They don't know it's you." Marcus's lips twitched. Not quite a smile. "They will." Lydia arched a brow, but didn't press. She clicked through slides, financials, timelines, personnel files. Claire's photo appeared, her smug headshot staring from the screen, Vaughn's been bleeding the Miami branch dry, Lydia said. Overpriced leases, padded expense reports. She's untouchable because she hits sales quotas. Marcus leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Not anymore. Lydia nodded, closing the laptop. Sign here. And it's done. Marcus scrawled his signature on a digital pad, the stylus scratching faintly. The warehouse was silent, save for the distant hum of a generator. Send the confirmation to the board, he said, and prep the announcement. I want it public by 4:00. Lydia's fingers flew across her phone. Done. You're meeting the board at the downtown office after the close. They're expecting a suit. Marcus glanced at his faded jacket, then at Javier, who was already pulling a garment bag from the sedan's trunk. Got it covered, Marcus said. The warehouse doors clanged shut behind them as they left, the sedan speeding back toward the city. Meanwhile, at Elite Motors, Claire Vaughn was riding high. She leaned against a Rolls-Royce Ghost, sipping coffee, her voice carrying across the showroom. That's how you handle trash, she bragged to a salesman, who forced a laugh. Keep the floor exclusive, and the real buyers stay happy. The salesman, a wiry guy named Derek, nodded, but his eyes flicked to the glass doors. Claire didn't notice. She strutted toward Emily's desk, where the receptionist was sorting client files. You're still here, Claire snapped. I said thin ice, girl. One more slip, and you're out. Emily's hands froze, her face paling. Yes, ma'am, she whispered, eyes down. She thought of Marcus, his quiet strength as he faced Claire's wrath. She'd smiled at him barely a second, but it felt like a rebellion now. Claire's intercom buzzed. Ms. Vaughn, the regional director's on line 2. A voice crackled. Claire smirked, sauntering to her office, probably calling to congratulate me on keeping standards. She shut the door, leaving the showroom in a tense hush. Derek leaned toward another salesman, whispering, She's clueless. Something's off. The second salesman, older, shrugged. She always skates by. Bet she's got dirt on the higher-ups. Emily overheard, her stomach twisting. She glanced at the clock, 1:30 p.m. The showroom felt like a pressure cooker, every tick of the second hand amplifying the unease. Across town, Marcus's sedan pulled into an underground garage beneath a sleek high-rise. Javier handed him the garment bag. Your suit, sir, and the limo's ready for 3:30. Marcus stepped out, the bag slung over his shoulder. Stay sharp, Javier. Things are about to move fast. He rode the elevator to a penthouse suite, where a mirror reflected his transformation. He shed the jacket and cap, slipping into a tailored black suit, the fabric crisp against his skin. A pair of tinted glasses completed the look, his silhouette now commanding, untouchable. He checked his watch, 2:00 p.m., 1 hour left, back at the dealership. Claire hung up with the regional director, her face smug. Told you, she said to no one, spinning in her chair. They love me, but the director's tone had been curt, mentioning an urgent meeting at 4:00. She brushed it off, sipping her coffee. Emily, still at her desk, caught Derek's eye. You think that guy's really coming back? She whispered. Derek smirked. If he does, Claire's done. The showroom's glass doors gleamed, reflecting the calm before the storm. Marcus, now suited up, stepped into a waiting limo outside the high-rise. Javier slid into the driver's seat. Boards confirmed. Sir, they're at the downtown office. Limo stocked files. Water. The works. Marcus nodded. Settling into the leather seat, he opened a briefcase, pulling out a single photo, the Elite Motors logo. He traced it with his thumb, his jaw tight. This wasn't just a deal. It was personal. The limo pulled onto the highway, its engine a low growl. The clock ticked toward 3:00, and the city held its breath. The black limousine rolled to a stop outside Elite Motors, its polished surface reflecting the dealership's glowing sign. The clock on the dashboard read 3:45 p.m. Marcus Kane adjusted his tinted glasses, his tailored black suit sharp as a blade. Javier. In the driver's seat, glanced back. Ready. Sir Marcus's jaw tightened. Let's move. The limo door opened, and Marcus stepped onto the sidewalk, his polished shoes clicking against the pavement. Lydia Chen, his legal advisor, followed, clutching a leather portfolio. The Miami heat pressed down, but Marcus's expression was ice cold. A small crowd of pedestrians slowed, sensing something big. Inside the showroom, Claire Vaughn was berating a salesman over a smudged Bentley hood. Do your job, or I'll find someone who can, she snapped, oblivious to the limo outside. Emily, at the reception desk, noticed it first. Her eyes widened as Marcus's silhouette appeared through the glass doors. The doors hissed open, and every head turned. Marcus strode in, Lydia at his side, his presence commanding the room. The soft jazz overhead seemed to falter. Claire spun around, her coffee mug frozen mid-sip. You again? She barked, her voice shrill. Vince Reggie, get this guy out now. The guards hesitated, sensing the shift. Marcus raised a hand, calm but firm. Stay where you are. His voice cut through the tension like a knife. Vince and Reggie froze, their eyes darting between Marcus and Claire. The staff salesman, cleaners, a lone mechanic formed a loose circle. Whispering, Claire's face reddened. Who do you think you are? This is my showroom. Marcus removed his glasses, his gaze locking onto hers. Not anymore, but easy. Lydia stepped forward, opening her portfolio. As of 300 p.m., Elite Motors Group, including this location, is under new ownership. Mr. Marcus Kane is the majority shareholder and acting CEO. She handed Claire a document, the Elite Motors logo stark against the page. Claire snatched it, her eyes scanning the text. Her smirk vanished, replaced by a flicker of panic. This is a joke, she stammered. You can't just. Marcus cut her off. It's done. Oh, signed and notarized. You're standing in my dealership. The room erupted in gasps. Derek, the junior salesman, stifled a grin. Emily's hands trembled, her mind racing. Claire's document slipped to the floor, fluttering like a fallen flag. You're lying, she shouted, lunging toward Marcus. Reggie grabbed his arm, more to protect her than restrain. Marcus didn't flinch. Call the board, he said, his tone even. Or check your email. The announcement went out 10 minutes ago. Claire fumbled for her phone, her fingers shaking as she scrolled. Her face paled as she read the subject line, Elite Motors acquisition complete. She looked up, her bravado crumbling. This can't be legal. Lydia's smile was razor thin. It's ironclad. Would you like to see the filings? Claire staggered back, clutching a display car for support. The staff watched, some in shock, others barely hiding their relief. Marcus turned, addressing the room. All employees, gather in the main lounge. Now, his voice carried no anger, only authority. Salesmen shuffled toward the lounge, a glass-walled space at the showroom's rear. Emily hesitated, then followed, her heart pounding. Claire remained rooted, her eyes wild. You can't do this, she screamed. Marcus ignored hers. Walking toward the lounge, Lydia leaned in, whispering, her files ready, everything you asked for. Marcus nodded, his eyes scanning the staff. He paused at Emily, who stood near the lounge entrance. You, he said, his voice softer. You smiled when I came in earlier. Why? Emily swallowed, her voice barely audible. You didn't deserve that. How she treated you. Marcus studied her, then nodded. Stay close. He entered the lounge, the staff parting like a sea. Claire, now trailing behind, pushed through, her voice cracking. You think you can waltz in and take over? I've run this place for years. Marcus turned, his presence towering. And that's why it's failing. Sit down, Ms. Vaughn. Claire froze, then sank into a chair, her defiance flickering. Marcus stood at the head of the room, Lydia beside him. This dealership, every location has been bleeding money, he said, Padded expenses, fake leases, lost clients. I'm here to fix it. But first we settle accounts. He nodded to Lydia, who opened her portfolio again. Ms. Vaughn, your performance reviews are illuminating. Shall we start with the $50,000 in consulting fees you approved for a shell company? Claire's mouth opened, but no words came. The staff murmured, some nodding knowingly. Derek whispered to a colleague, told you she was dirty. Emily, standing near the door, felt a spark of hope. Marcus's eyes swept the room, pausing on each face. I don't care about your past. I care about what you do now. Prove you belong and you stay. Cross me and you're gone. The room was silent, every word sinking in. Claire's hands clenched, her nails digging into her palms. You'll regret this, she hissed. Marcus met her gaze. I don't regret, I act. He turned to Lydia. Get the regional director on the line. I want confirmation to the staff. Live. Lydia dialed, her phone on speaker. A gruff voice answered. This is Director Hargrove. I can confirm Mr. Kane's acquisition. He's in charge. Any questions? Silence. Claire's head dropped. Her fight drained. Marcus ended the call, his voice steady. Meeting adjourned. Back to work, except you, Ms. Vaughn. We're not done. The staff dispersed, buzzing with whispers. Emily lingered, catching Marcus's eye. He gave her a slight nod, a gesture that felt like a lifeline. Outside, the limo idled, Javier watching the doors. The clock hit 4 p.m., and Elite Motors was no longer Claire's. It was Marcus's, and he was just getting started. The lounge at Elite Motors buzzed with nervous energy, the glass walls amplifying every whisper. Marcus Kane stood at the head of the room, his black suit a stark contrast to the showroom's gleaming white. Claire Vaughn slumped in a chair, her face a mix of fury and fear, her hands gripping the armrests. Lydia Chen, portfolio open, flipped through documents. Her voice crisp. Ms. Vaughn, your expense reports show $50,000 in payments to Premier Consulting. No invoices, no deliverables. Care to explain? Claire's eyes darted, her voice hoarse. That's standard practice. You wouldn't understand. Marcus stepped forward, his presence silencing the room. I understand theft. The word landed like a gavel. The staff salesmen, mechanics, cleaners exchanged glances, some nodding, others frozen. Derek, the junior salesman, leaned against the wall, arms crossed, a smirk tugging at his lips. Emily, near the door, clutched at a notepad, her pulse racing. Claire shot to her feet, her chair scraping. You can't prove anything. I've built this place. Marcus's gaze was unrelenting. You've bled it dry, and you're done. He nodded to Lydia, who pulled out another document. This is your termination notice, effective immediately. Security will escort you out. Claire's scream echoed. You can't fire me. I know people. I'll sue Vince and Reggie. The guards who'd once shoved Marcus stepped forward. Vince's face was grim. Reggie's hesitant. Ma'am, let's go, Vince said, his hand on her arm. Claire yanked free, her eyes wild. Don't touch me. You work for me. Marcus raised a hand. They work for me now. Everyone does. The guards grabbed Claire, firmer this time, and dragged her toward the showroom floor. Her heels skidded, her shouts somewhere, bouncing off the marble. This isn't over. You'll pay for this. The staff watched, some in shock, others barely hiding their relief. Emily's eyes followed Claire, a mix of pity and justice swirling in her chest. The glass doors hissed open, and Claire was pushed outside, her purse tossed after her. She stumbled onto the sidewalk, the Miami heat swallowing her cries. The doors sealed shut. A final punctuation. Inside. Marcus turned to the staff, his voice steady. Anyone else think they're untouchable? Silence. Even Derek's smirk faded. Marcus paced, his shoes clicking. This dealership's been a circus fake deals, lost clients, your manager skimming profits. That ends today. I'm not here to play games. I'm here to build something real. A salesman, gray-haired and nervous, raised a hand. Sir, what about our woe? Marcus stopped, his eyes softening slightly. Prove you're worth keeping. That's the deal. The salesman nodded, relieved. Marcus glanced at Emily, who stood rigid, her notepad creased from her grip. You? Step forward. Emily's heart skipped. She approached, her sneakers silent on the marble. Yes, Sir Marcus studied her. You smiled when I came in this morning. You saw me, not my clothes. Why, Emily's voice trembled. It's just right. You were a customer. I didn't know who you were. Marcus nodded. That's enough. Lydia, make a note. Emily's on my team. Lydia scribbled, her pen scratching. Emily's eyes widened, a flush creeping up her neck. Derek whispered to a colleague. Kid's got luck. Marcus addressed the room again. Back to work. I want sales reports on my desk by 600. Move. The staff scattered, their footsteps at a chaotic rhythm. Emily lingered, unsure. Lydia leaned in. Stay close to him. Kid, he sees something in you. Emily nodded, retreating to her desk, her mind spinning. Outside, Claire stood on the sidewalk, her phone pressed to her ear. Hargrove, you have to fix this, she hissed. The regional director's voice was cold. You're on your own. Claire, talk Collier. Kane's got the board. Don't call again. The line went dead. Claire's hands shook, her eyes burning. She glared at the showroom. Marcus's silhouette visible through the glass. This isn't over, she muttered, storming toward a waiting taxi. Inside, Marcus moved to Claire's former office, a glass-walled fortress overlooking the showroom. He sat at the desk, flipping through her files. Lydia joined him, closing the door. Her accounts are a mess. She said, We've got enough to press charges if you want. Marcus leaned back, his fingers steepled. Not yet. I want her to feel this first. Lydia nodded, then hesitated. The staff's rattled. Some are loyal to her. Watch your back. Marcus's eyes flicked to the showroom, where Derek was whispering to a mechanic. I always do. The clock hit 4:30 p.m., and the showroom hummed with forced normalcy. Salesmen typed frantically, phones rang, and a cleaner scrubbed the marble with extra vigor. Emily, at her desk, caught Marcus's eye through the office glass. He gave her a slight nod, a silent anchor in the storm. She exhaled, her hands steadying, but tension lingered. Derek slipped into the break room, pulling the mechanic aside. Claire's not done, he whispered. She's got friends, big ones. Kane better watch out. The mechanic frowned. You picking sides already? Derek shrugged. Just saying, this ain't over. Back in the office, Marcus opened a drawer, finding a photo of Claire shaking hands with a man in a suit. Hargrove, the regional director. His jaw tightened. Lydia, dig into Hargrove. I want everything. Lydia nodded, her laptop already open. On it, the showroom's lights flickered. A brief glitch, but it felt like a warning. Marcus stood, his silhouette filling the office window. Claire was gone, but her shadow lingered. He wasn't just fighting her, he was fighting a system, and he was ready. The Elite Motors showroom hummed with forced productivity, phones ringing and keyboards clacking as the staff scrambled to meet Marcus Kane's 600 p.m. deadline for sales reports. Marcus stood in Claire's former office, now his, the glass walls offering a clearer view of the bustling floor. He flipped through a stack of files, his jaw tight. Lydia Chen sat across from him, her laptop open, digging into Hargrove's connections. He's dirty, she said, her voice low. Emails tie him to Claire's shell company. Want me to push for an audit? Marcus nodded. Do it. Quietly. A knock interrupted. Emily, the receptionist, stood at the door, her notepad clutched like a shield. Sir, you asked for me. Marcus gestured to a chair. Sit. Emily perched on the edge, her sneakers scuffing the carpet. Marcus leaned forward, his eyes assessing. You're not like them, he said. You saw nobody this morning and treated him like a person. That's rare. Emily's cheeks flushed. I just did my job. Sir, Marcus's lips twitched. Almost a smile. That's why you're here. I'm promoting you to assistant manager. Effective tomorrow. 80,000 a year, plus a 10,000 bonus for today. Emily's jaw dropped, her notepad slipping. What? Me, Lydia chuckled, closing her laptop. Better believe it. Kid, Marcus slid a contract across the desk. Sign it. You report to me now. Emily's hands shook as she scrawled her name, her eyes glassy. Thank you, sir. I won't let you down. Marcus nodded. I know. Get back to the floor. I need those reports. Emily stood, nearly tripping, and hurried out, her heart pounding. The showroom felt different now, less like a prank, more like a chance. She passed Derek, who was whispering to the mechanic in a corner. Derek's eyes followed her, narrowing. Teacher's pet, he muttered. The mechanic shrugged. She's smart. You should be. Derek scoffed, but his gaze lingered, calculating. Marcus watched from the office, his eyes catching Derek's movement. Lydia, keep an eye on that one, he said, nodding toward Derek. Trouble. Lydia jotted a note. Got it. The clock hit 5:00 p.m., and the showroom's tension spiked. Salesmen stacked reports, their faces strained. Emily, now at her desk, organized files with new confidence. A cleaner, an older woman named Rosa, approached her. Heard about your promotion. Rosa said, her voice soft. You deserve it, mija. But watch out. Claire had friends here. Emily frowned. Like who? Rosa glanced at Derek, then back. Just watch. Emily nodded, her stomach twisting. She scanned the floor, catching Derek slipping into the break room. Curiosity pulled her closer. She hovered near the door, hearing Derek's low voice. Claire's got a plan. Hargrove's out, but she's calling in favors. Kane won't last. The mechanic's voice was skeptical. She's done, man. Let it go. Derek laughed. Sharp. You'll see. Emily backed away, her pulse racing. She wanted to tell Marcus but hesitated. Would he think she was paranoid? The showroom's lights buzzed, a faint flicker. Marcus emerged from the office, his suit still crisp despite the long day. He addressed the staff, his voice carrying, Reports are due in 1 hour. I'm not here to babysit. Deliver, or you're out. The staff nodded, scrambling. Marcus caught Emily's eye, sensing her unease. He walked over, his voice low. Something wrong? Emily swallowed. I overheard Derek. He said Claire's planning something. With favors. Marcus's eyes darkened. Good catch. Stay sharp. He turned to Lydia, who joined them. Get security to monitor Derek. No mistakes. Lydia nodded, texting Javier. Marcus returned to the office, his mind racing. Claire wasn't just a bad manager, she was a cog in a bigger machine. Hargrove's emails hinted at a network, and Derek's whispers confirmed it. He opened a drawer, pulling out the photo of Claire and Hargrove. You picked the wrong fight, he muttered. Outside, the Miami skyline glowed against the dusk. A taxi screeched to a stop a block away, and Claire stepped out, her face hard. She wore sunglasses despite the fading light, her phone pressed to her ear. I don't care what it costs, she hissed. Get me someone who can hit Kane where it hurts. The voice on the other end was smooth. It's risky. Miss Vaughn, he's connected. Claire laughed, bitter. So am I. She hung up, staring at the dealership's glowing sign. The limo still idled out front, Javier watching her from the driver's seat. He texted Marcus. She's back. 1 block away. Marcus read the message, his expression unreadable. Let her come, he replied. Back in the showroom, Emily took a deep breath, channeling her new role. She approached Rosa. If you hear anything, tell me. We're on the same side now. Rosa nodded, her eyes warm. Always. Mija. The clock ticked towards 6:00 and the reports piled up. Marcus stood at the office window, watching the staff. Emily's promotion had sent a message loyalty and decency mattered. But Derek's scheming and Claire's return signaled trouble. He turned to Lydia. Get me everything on Claire's network. Names, deals, all of it. Lydia's fingers flew across her keyboard. Already on it. You sure you want to escalate? Marcus's eyes were steel. She started this. I'm ending it. The showroom's energy shifted, a mix of fear and purpose. Emily, now assistant manager, felt the weight of her role. She glanced at Marcus, his silhouette a beacon of control. Derek slipped back onto the floor, his face neutral, but his eyes betrayed him. Claire Bowen, a block away, adjusted her sunglasses, her steps deliberate. The storm wasn't coming, it was here. The Elite Motors showroom pulsed with tension, the clock ticking past 6 hours p.m. as sales reports piled up on Emily's desk. Marcus Kane stood in his office, the Miami skyline darkening beyond the glass. Lydia Chen's laptop glowed, her fingers racing through encrypted files. Hargrove's dirty, she said, her voice tight. He funneled $200,000 through Claire's shell company. Bank records confirm it. Marcus's eyes narrowed, his fist clenching. Who else is in on it? Lydia scrolled, her brow furrowed. 3 managers from other branches, and someone higher codenamed Viper. No real name yet. Marcus paced, his shoes clicking on the hardwood. Find Viper. Now. A sharp knock broke the silence. Javier, the driver, leaned in, his face grim. Sir, Claire's circling. Spotted her 2 blocks out, talking to a guy in a black SUV. Marcus's jaw tightened. Get security on her, no surprises. Javier nodded. Texting Vince. Outside, the showroom buzzed. Staff whispering about Emily's promotion and Claire's ejection. Emily, now assistant manager, sorted reports. Her hands steady, but her mind racing. Rosa, the cleaner, hovered nearby, mopping the marble. Heard anything? Mija Rosa asked, her voice low. Emily glanced at Derek, who was typing furiously at a sales desk. He's trouble, she whispered, talking about Claire's plan. Rosa's eyes darkened. Tell Mr. Kane, don't wait. Emily nodded, but before she could move, Derek stood, his chair scraping. He strode toward the break room, his phone pressed to his ear. Emily followed, keeping her distance. The break room door was ajar, Derek's voice low but clear. Claire's got Viper on board. They're hitting Kane tonight hard. Emily's breath caught. She backed away, her sneakers silent, and hurried to Marcus's office. She knocked, her heart pounding. Sir, it's urgent. Marcus waved her in, his eyes sharp. Talk, Emily's words tumbled out. Derek's on the phone. Said Claire and someone called Viper are planning to hit you tonight. Marcus's face hardened. Good work. Stay here. He turned to Lydia. Pull Derek's access. Lock him out of the system. Lydia's fingers flew, her screen flashing. Done. His keycard's dead. Marcus grabbed his phone, dialing Vince. Find Derek. Bring him to me. Vince's voice crackled. On it, boss. In the showroom, Vince and Reggie moved fast, their boots thudding. Derek, exiting the break room, froze as Vince loomed. Mr. Kane wants you, Vince said, his hand on Derek's shoulder. Derek's eyes darted, but Reggie blocked the exit. Don't make this hard. Reggie growled. Derek smirked, defiant. You're backing the wrong guy. Vince tightened his grip, dragging Derek toward the office. The staff watched, their work halting. Emily, in the office, stood by Lydia, her pulse racing. Derek was shoved inside, his face flushed. What's this about? He snapped. Marcus leaned against the desk, his voice cold. You tell me. Who's Viper? Derek's smirk faltered. I don't know what you're talking about. Marcus stepped closer, towering. You're on the phone with Claire's crew, plotting against me. Try again. Derek's eyes flicked to the door, but Vince blocked it. You can't prove anything, Derek said, his voice cracking. Lydia spun her laptop, showing a log of Derek's calls. Your phone pinged a burner linked to Claire. 10 minutes ago, Derek's shoulders slumped, but he laughed, bitter. You think you're untouchable? Claire's got people, big people. You're done. Marcus's fist slammed the desk, the sound like a gunshot. You're done, he nodded to Vince. Take him to the back. Hold him till I say. Vince and Reggie hauled Derek out, his protest fading. Emily's hands trembled, but Marcus's nod steadied her. You did right, he said. Stay sharp. Lydia's phone buzzed. Sir, security's got eyes on Claire. She's with a guy, tattoos, armed, black SUV, circling the block. Marcus's eyes darkened. Get Javier. I want that SUV stopped. Lydia texted, her face tense. Outside. Javier idled in the limo, his eyes locked on the rear view. The black SUV rolled past, its tinted windows hiding the driver. Javier's radio crackled. Suspect vehicle. East side. Move in. Javier gripped the wheel. Wait for my signal. Back in the office, Marcus opened a drawer, pulling out a tablet. He tapped into the dealership's security feed, watching the SUV prowl. They're testing us, he said. Lydia nodded. Viper's crew. Maybe. Want me to call the cops? Marcus shook his head. Not yet. We handle this in-house. A shout echoed from the showroom. Rosa burst into the office, her face pale. Mr. The back door's open. Someone cut the lock. Marcus moved fast, grabbing a flashlight from the desk. Lydia, lock the office. Emily, with me. Emily followed, her heart in her throat. Marcus strode through the showroom, staff parting. He reached the back door, its lock dangling, wires exposed. Footprints marked the dust fresh. Heavy. They're inside, Marcus said, his voice low. He pushed the door open, the alley dark beyond, dark. A shadow moved, and Marcus swung the flashlight, catching a glint of metal. Down he shouted, shoving Emily behind a crate. A figure in a hoodie lunged, a crowbar swinging. Marcus dodged, grabbing the man's wrist and twisting. The crowbar clattered, and the man grunted, his tattooed arm pinned. Who sent you? Marcus growled. The man spat, defiant. Viper says you're dead. Marcus slammed him against the wall, his forearm on the man's throat. Where's Claire? The man choked, silent. Vince arrived, cuffing the intruder. Got him. Boss! Marcus released the man, his eyes scanning the alley. Search the building. They're not done. Emily, crouched behind the crate, stood, her legs shaking. Sir, what's happening? Marcus's voice was steel. War. The showroom's lights flickered, and Javier's voice crackled through Marcus's earpiece. SUVs parked. Claire's inside. Orders. Marcus gripped the flashlight. Box them in. No one leaves. The clock hit 7 p.m. Bond and Elite Motors was a battlefield. The Elite Motors showroom was a fortress under siege, its marble floors reflecting the flicker of overhead lights. Marcus Kane stood in the alley, his flashlight cutting through the dark as Vince hauled the tattooed intruder toward a waiting security van. Emily, still shaken, hovered behind a crate, her eyes wide. Clear the building, Marcus ordered, his voice steady. No one else gets in. Vince nodded, radioing Reggie. Full sweep. Now, inside, Lydia Chen barricaded the office, her laptop open to security feeds. Cameras show the SUVs still parked, she said through Marcus's earpiece. Javier's got it boxed in. Marcus gripped the flashlight, his suit creased from the scuffle. Tell him to hold. I'm coming. He turned to Emily. Back inside. Stay with Lydia. Emily nodded, sprinting to the showroom. The staff, huddled near sales desks, whispered frantically. Rosa, the cleaner, gripped her mop like a weapon. What's happening? She asked as Emily passed. Trouble, Emily said, breathless. But Mr. Kane's handling it. Outside, Marcus moved swiftly, his shoes crunching gravel. Javier's limo idled at the block's end, headlights pinning the black SUV. Claire sat inside, her silhouette tense, arguing with a man in the driver's seat. Javier's voice crackled. She's panicking. Sir, want me to move in? Marcus crouched behind a dumpster, watching. Wait, let her make the first move. The SUV's door opened, and Claire stepped out, her sunglasses gone, her face pale. Do it now, she hissed to the driver, who pulled a phone. Marcus signaled Javier. Now. The limo surged forward, tires screeching, blocking the SUV's path. Javier leapt out, his hand on a concealed holster. Hands up, he shouted. Claire screamed, stumbling back. The driver lunged for a glove box, but Javier slammed the door, pinning his arm. Don't, Javier growled. Marcus emerged, his presence commanding. Claire, it's over. Bow. Claire's eyes blazed. You think you've won? Viper's coming for you. Marcus stepped closer, unflinching, then let him come. Javier cuffed the driver, shoving him against the SUV. Claire's phone buzzed, but Marcus snatched it, smashing it under his heel. No more calls, he said. Claire lunged, clawing at him, but Javier restrained her. Take her to security, Marcus ordered. Hold them both. Javier nodded, dragging Claire and the driver to the van. Back in the showroom, Emily reached the office, her heart pounding. Lydia unlocked the door, her face grim. Building's clear, but Derek's gone. Slipped out during the chaos. Emily's stomach dropped. He's with Claire. Lydia shook her head. Maybe Viper. I'm tracing his phone. Marcus returned, his suit dusted but intact. Status? He demanded. Lydia briefed him, her voice clipped. Claire's secured. Driver's talking, says Viper's a fixer. Hired muscle. Derek's AWOL. Marcus's jaw tightened. Find him. He turned to the staff, now gathered near the lounge. Listen up, he said, his voice cutting through the fear. This dealership's mine, and I'm cleaning house. Claire's gone. Her allies are next. You want to stay, work for it. A salesman, the gray-haired one from before, stepped forward. Sir, we're with you. Claire Scrutus, too. Nods rippled through the crowd. Rosa raised a hand. I got records. Mr. Kane, Claire's fake invoices, hidden in the storage room. Marcus's eyes lit up. Get them, now! Rosa hurried off, her mop abandoned. Emily, gaining confidence, spoke up. Sir, I can help. I know the filing system. Marcus nodded. Do it. The staff dispersed, a new energy surging. Emily and Rosa returned with a box of crumpled paper leases, receipts, all marked with Claire's initials. Lydia scanned them, her laptop humming. This is gold, she said, enough to bury her in Hargrove. Marcus stood at the office window, watching the staff rally. File it. Send copies to the board. The clock hit 800 p.m. and the showroom transformed. Salesmen reworked deals, cleaners scrubbed with purpose, and Emily organized files like a general. But trouble loomed. Lydia's phone pinged. Got a hit on Derek. He's at a rival dealership, Prestige Auto, 10 miles out. Marcus's eyes darkened. They're moving against us. He dialed Javier. Prep the limo. We're going, Emily overheard, her voice firm. I'm coming, sir. Marcus studied her, then nodded. Stay close. The limo roared to life, carrying Marcus, Emily, and Javier. Prestige Auto's neon sign glowed in the distance. A rival empire. Inside, Derek met a man in a leather jacket. Viper. Kane's weak. Derek said, smirking. One push, and he's done. Viper, scarred and cold, lit a cigarette. Then we push. Marcus's limo pulled up, headlights off. He stepped out, Emily and Javier flanking him. No guns. He said, "We end this clean." They slipped through a side door, the showroom's lights casting long shadows. Derek's voice echoed. "Claire's got the key. You hit Kane. You're set." Marcus moved like a predator, his footsteps silent. He rounded a corner, facing Derek and Viper. "Wrong move," he said, his voice ice. Viper lunged, a knife flashing. Marcus dodged, grabbing Viper's wrist and slamming him into a display car. The alarm blared, glass cracking. Derek bolted, but Javier tackled him, cuffs snapping. Emily grabbed a fire extinguisher, spraying Viper's legs, tripping him. Marcus pinned Viper, his knee on the man's chest. "Who's bankrolling Claire?" Viper spat, defiant. "You're dead, Kane." Marcus pressed harder. "Talk," Viper gasped. "Hargrove's boss. Corporate. They want you gone." Marcus released him, nodding to Javier. "Cuff him. Call the cops." Sirens wailed, closing in. Marcus stood, his suit torn, but his resolve as iron. Emily, panting, dropped the extinguisher. Did we win? Marcus's eyes softened. Not yet. The showroom was secure, the staff united, and Claire's network crumbling. Marcus looked at Emily. "You're proving yourself." She smiled, standing taller. The limo sped back to Elite Motors, the night alive with possibility. The Elite Motors showroom sparkled under dawn's light, its marble floors mirroring a towering banner, "Elite Motors, a new era." It was 700 a.m., a week after the Prestige auto clash. Marcus Kane stood at his office window, his black suit sharp, watching workers polish Rolls-Royces for the grand reopening. Emily, now assistant manager, barked orders below, her clipboard a flurry. Rosa, the cleaner, waxed a Bentley, her movements precise. The air crackled with urgency. Lydia Chen burst in, tablet in hand, boards ecstatic. She said, breathless, "Sales jumped 25% since you took over. Hargrove's gone sacked last night. Corporate's terrified." Marcus's eyes glinted. "What about Claire?" Lydia's grin was sharp. "She's crumbling. Hired a lawyer, but they dropped her. Viper's singing to the cops, naming names." Marcus's fist clenched. "Finish her network. No loose ends." Javier stormed in, his face taut. "Sir, Claire's outside, brought a mob cameras, signs, screaming you're a thief." Marcus's voice was steel. "Time to bury her." He strode to the showroom floor, Emily at his side. "Stay close," he told her. She nodded, her jaw set. Outside, Claire stood on the sidewalk, her coat tattered, a megaphone blaring. "Marcus Kane stole my dealership," she shrieked, her voice raw. 4 men with cameras and signs, "Kane's a fraud," chanted behind her. A crowd swelled, phones flashing. Marcus stepped out, his presence a thunderclap. "Soul," he said, his voice slicing through the noise. "You robbed this place blind." Claire's eyes burned. "Prove it." Lydia raised her tablet, her voice cold. "Fake leases, $200, $1,000 siphoned. Your initials. Want details?" The crowd gasped, cameras swiveling. Claire's face drained. "Lies," she roared, charging Marcus. Javier intercepted, his arm a barrier. "Step back," he growled. A sign-wielding man, bald and muscled, swung at Javier, his fist grazing air. Marcus grabbed the man's arm, twisting it until he dropped. The crowd roared, filming wildly. Emily, adrenaline surging, climbed onto a bench. Phone raised. "This is Elite Motors," she shouted, live streaming. "Claire's a crook, Kane's our future." The bald man swung again, but Vince and Reggie materialized, slamming him to the pavement. Claire's men froze, their signs clattering. Claire's megaphone slipped, her scream shrill. "You're nothing." Kane Marcus loomed, his voice low. You're the nothing now. Leave, or I call the cops. Claire's knees buckled. She clawed at a camera, but the crowd turned, booing. Thief, a woman yelled. Claire fled to a car, her men scattering. The crowd erupted, chanting Elite Motors. Emily's live stream spiked, the video going viral online. She jumped down, breathless. It's everywhere, she said, showing Marcus her phone. He nodded. Well done. Inside. The staff cheered, their applause shaking the glass. Rosa hugged Emily, whispering, You're a star. Mija. Marcus raised a hand, silencing the room. This is your dealership, he said. No scams, no shadows. We build trust. We thrive. The staff roared, fists raised. Emily stepped up, her voice steady. Sir, I've got pricing reforms ready. Honest deals, full transparency. Marcus's eyes warmed. Implement them. The reopening surged forward. Clients flooded in. A family signing for a phantom, praising Emily's clarity. Rosa led cleaners with new pride. Her orders crisp. Lydia sent Claire's evidence to prosecutors, sealing her fate. By noon, TV crews arrived, filming the reborn Elite Motors. Marcus faced a microphone, his words sharp. This isn't my victory. It's theirs, he said, nodding to the staff. A reporter grinned and, You're trending worldwide. Mr. Kane, Marcus shrugged. I just cleaned house. Night fell, the showroom a beacon against Miami's skyline. Marcus sat in his office, a new photo on his desk, the staff, laughing at the reopening. Emily knocked, holding a tablet. Record sales today. Sir, we're soaring. Marcus took it, his voice soft. You're making this real. Emily smiled, standing taller. We all are. A block away. Claire slumped in her car. Her phone shattered. A text glowed alone. Case collapsed. You're finished. She screamed, pounding the dashboard. Her empire dust. Marcus stepped onto the showroom floor, his voice echoing. I don't need to be welcomed. I need to see who's worth keeping. The staff grinned, their loyalty ironclad. Rosa raised a coffee mug. To Elite Motors, Vince and Emily joined. Mugs clinking. Marcus lifted his, a rare smile breaking. To a new dawn. The showroom shone, a symbol of justice. Claire's car vanished into the night, her legacy erased. Marcus stood at the center, his mission complete, a takeover rooted in truth, a dealership reborn. Marchand. Marcus turned prejudice into justice, transforming a corrupt dealership with fairness. Thanks for listening. Either like, share, and subscribe to catch our next gripping tale. Don't miss out. Hit the bell for the latest videos.